and fill me again.
20 minutes past the hour now. This is a story we've been covering for, wow, many months. Investigators in the state of Mississippi say they've now cracked the case of a young woman burned alive on the side of the road and left to die. They say a grand jury has just indicted a man for the murder of then 19-year-old Jessica Chambers. First responders say that they found her wandering away from her car. Her car was on fire. She had burns, they say, everywhere on her body except the bottoms of her feet. This happened in December of 2014 in the small town of Cortland, about a 40-minute drive or so south and west of Oxford, Mississippi. The first responders said that before Jessica Chambers died, she muttered a few words about the attack, spoke just a little to authorities who were there. Now, they've never told us exactly what she said, but her father, who works for the local sheriff's department there, said his daughter named her attacker. And he said the person who did this squirted lighter fluid down her nose and her throat and then lit her ablaze. We have a photo now of the man whom investigators say killed her, and here he is. He's 27-year-old Quentin Tellis, and he's already in jail in Louisiana in connection, though not charged with, another woman's killing in that state. He faces a charge of capital murder for Jessica Chambers' death, which means he could get the death penalty if convicted. Yodit Tewolde is with us now, here live on the Fox News desk. She's a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. He was picked up in August, this past August, in connection with this murder in Louisiana. He's not charged with the murder, but he's charged with other things surrounding that. It sounds like he might eventually be. But this had happened 9-10 months earlier. And for some reason, I guess they just couldn't put it all together.
No, and you know, it's really disheartening as a former prosecutor to find out that this individual is not only given one chance on probation, but a second. And this was, what, 2 months before this killing actually occurred?
Those are other cases.
Other cases. And, you know, you have an individual who not only has a long criminal history, but a violent one as well. Some that were against other victims, and those victims didn't show up in court, and that's why they were dismissed. So it's, again, disheartening to find out that he was placed on probation, and then 2 months later, this young woman was killed.
Now, I guess Louisiana authorities will have their own crack at him first because they have custody is 9/10 of the law.
Right.
So possession is 9. So they have him, but Mississippi will most likely ask that they get to handle him at some point too. The details of the crime are just they're beyond. I mean,
aggravating.
My God, this family in Mississippi, the word was they had maybe had a relationship of some sort, right?
On and off of some sort. We don't know what the actual relationship entailed, but according to authorities, it's been an on and off relationship. And again, it's just, it's such and this kind of a murder would only happen with someone that you actually do know. The factors are so aggravating that it's no surprise that this would be a capital murder charge. And of course, he's looking at life in prison without parole or the death penalty.
We always talk about stabbing as this very personal crime.
Right.
And then you think about the allegations here. Poured lighter fluid into her orifice and lit her afire while she was walking down or in the car, and then she's found stumbling down the road by these cops.
And you know, it's going to be a challenge because law enforcement hasn't actually confirmed what she said.
Nope.
If she said anything at all. Now, if she did, now it's going to be a challenge because, of course, in court, you can't actually have hearsay being admitted. And because it is hearsay and she's no longer here to actually substantiate that statement, the prosecutor is going to try to get that in under some sort of an exception to hearsay, some sort of dying declaration, because she, at that point, would 98% of her body is completely burned. She would have thought that she was being killed or is going to die. So if she did identify her killer and that does come into court, that's going to be a major, major blow for the defense.
There's other evidence, we're told. Some of it may be circumstantial. That's not to say it's not admissible and wouldn't be helpful, but there is other evidence.
Right. And most cases are circumstantial. I mean, if it wasn't, then you'd actually be a witness to the actual murder, right? So most of it's circumstantial, but according to what we do know, it seems pretty strong as far as the evidence is concerned.
Yodit Tewolde, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.